welcome back to Nails Before Films. Great news! I'm not doing news today. After my last video, I realized I don't enjoy doing news at all. It makes me furious and depressed. Fortunately, I went to see a really fun movie and now I get to review it. Yay! I'm talking about Boy Kills World, a movie probably a lot of people haven't even heard of. I didn't know anything about this movie either. I saw it when I was looking for the Fall Guy tickets. I saw the poster and was like, wait a minute, isn't that Bill Skarsgård? He has a new movie coming out? What's this about? I looked it up on Wikipedia, and while the synopsis didn't exactly pique my interest, I saw that Andrew Koji was in the movie as well. I knew him from Warrior and Bullet Train, so I thought, well, I really like Bill Skarsgård and I like Andrew Koji too, so I might as well go see this. And I'm so happy that I did. Before I get into the movie, there's a surprise at the end, so stay tuned for that. Or skip to the timestamp, but shame on you. The story of Boy Kills World is simple. It takes place in a totalitarian society where a family, the Vanderkoys, rules with an iron fist. Every year, they host an event, the Culling, where they execute 12 of their enemies on live TV. The main character is Boy, and his mom and little sister are both killed on the Culling. He's tortured and becomes deaf-mute. Saved by a mysterious shaman, Boy is trained to be a weapon with the single purpose of taking down the Vanderkoys and avenging his family. However, on his way to vengeance, he discovers everything may not be what it seems. I'll avoid spoilers because I really want you guys to watch the movie for yourselves. It's a really fun film, especially if you're into bloody action comedies. But first, let's go over what I don't like that much about the film. As much as I like Andrew Koji, I find his character Basho to be over the top. He's loud, hyper, and supposedly funny. Don't get me wrong, I like that I get to see Andrew Koji play a different type of character instead of the brooding, stoic male he did in Warrior and Bullet Train. However, the performance is so over the top that it seems fake. I got annoyed by the accent really quickly, and overall, the loudness was irritating instead of funny. Basho is like Boy's first friend after his family got killed, and their interaction is pretty adorable too. But I didn't like the character as much as I wanted to because of how exaggerated he was. I don't think Andrew Koji's acting is the problem. Maybe that's what the movie was going for because it is a pretty over-the-top, absurd film. But even so, I still find Basho somewhat jarring. His character is just too cartoonish, even for a movie that is inspired by anime and video games. Some of the jokes got old really fast. For example, there's this running gag that Boy couldn't read one of his allies, Benny's lips, so everything he said sounded like gibberish to both Boy and the audience. Personally, I think the joke would work better if the audience could hear some part of the speech regularly and then they cut to what Boy thinks he's saying. That way, we can learn just how different Boy's version is and it would emphasize the joke. Because we never get to hear what Benny's truly saying, he's just a goofy character throughout the whole film. I get that the intent is to be funny and show us just how absurd the world is to Boy, but I got tired of it almost immediately, which is why I think it worked better if they alternated between the real version and Boy's version. There are also some jokes that are so foreseeable that I don't find them funny because you're practically waiting for them to happen. So when it actually happened, I was like, yep, saw that coming. Not only were some jokes foreseeable, but the plot twists weren't exactly surprising either. There was a major plot twist in the third act that basically changed everything you knew about the film, but it was very guessable and simple. I saw that twist coming and wasn't that surprised. My reaction was more like, yep, they did it. They went with the soap opera twist. Not only was the twist predictable, but the way they handled it afterward was weak too. One of the characters got over it really quickly and it baffled me. I was like, wait, why are you over this already? This is supposed to be a huge deal. I know the character is kind of a wacko, but still, the transition from happily surprised to cold-blooded rejection feels too forced. There are some smaller surprises that are foreseeable too. this movie is probably not for you if you want complicated, sophisticated scripts. Regarding the plot, I'm very forgiving because I knew basically nothing about this film except that it's an action thriller beforehand. I didn't watch the trailer because I tend to avoid trailers if I can. I like to go into movies completely blind. I had no expectations whatsoever and was happy that I got a simple action thriller comedy. I actually appreciate that they kept the plot simple and focused on the action and humor. When the movie just started, I was really worried that they would try to do too much. Because the setting is in a totalitarian society, I thought they might go philosophical or dive too deep into the lore to explain how this society came to be. It would be really difficult to fit all of that into a movie that's less than 2 hours. Fortunately, they kept the story simple and focused on action and humor. While it'd be interesting to learn about where the Vendakois come from and how they rose to power, adding that could overload the movie and ruin the pacing. For the story to work, the audience only needs to know that the Vendakois are evil. Where they came from isn't necessary. I'm happy they left it like that and didn't try to do too much. Another thing I appreciate about the story is that it doesn't try to fit a romantic subplot in there. I hate that most action movies had to add a romantic subplot. Every time that happens, I'm like, we don't care about the romance. Get back to the fighting. I'm not saying there can't be romance in action movies, but it's really done well. Most of the time, it's forced and distracting. I'm happy that Boy Kills World doesn't do this. Instead, the focus is on sibling love, which they probably build throughout the movie. Now let's talk about another important aspect of an action movie, which is, of course, the action. I really enjoyed the fights in Boy Kills World. They are brutal and fun. None of them feels dragged on or bored me, and they make good use of the settings to keep the fights fresh and quirky. For example, one of my favorite fights is when Boy goes to a kitchen and fights the staff, and his weapon of choice is a freaking shredder. So when he fights, he constantly shreds people's flesh. It's amazing. It's so freaking fun. This leads me to the next thing I love about this movie. It's so gory. There's so much blood. I love it. I love it. I love it. The gore in this movie is on slasher movie level. There's decapitation, dismemberment, and the aforementioned shredding, head smashing, and just blood spilling everywhere. During the boss fight, Boy got severely cut and all of the other audience were like, ooh. I was the only one that went, whoa! I had no idea how gory this movie was going to be, and I'm so happy that they made this excessively bloody. Just a side note, I'm like this in real life too. When I do blood tests, I get giddy when I see my blood gushing into the tube. But I don't really enjoy seeing other people bleed in real life, but I love that in movies. Anyway, let's get back to Boy Kills World. If you're a horror slasher fan like me, you'll definitely appreciate how bloody this movie is. However, if you're more squeamish, this movie probably isn't for you. Besides the gore, Boy Kills World is also heavily influenced by anime and video games. The aesthetic has quite an anime graphic novel feel. For example, the head of security for Vendakoi, June 27, is a biker girl who wears a full face helmet. She reminds me a lot of the cat ear helmet girl from Durarara. During the credit, there's even a part where they parody the infamous motorcycle poster from Akira. So I think it's safe to say that Boy Kills World is influenced by anime. As for video games, Boy and his little sister have a favorite arcade game that's something like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. And Boy's inner voice throughout the whole movie is represented by the video game announcer. He frequently uses language like player 1, player 2, or round 1, round 2 when he's fighting. So if you're a fan of anime or video games, especially the gory kind, you'll probably enjoy this film. Speaking of the epic voiceover video game announcer voice, a lot of the lines are really funny, especially when they're paired with Bill Skarsgård's acting. While I complain about Andrew Koji's character and some overused jokes, the movie as a whole is hilarious. I think it's smart to give Boy a deep, epic voice. It really shows that he's a boy who thinks he's a man. He gets distracted a lot, and it's really funny to hear such a serious voice say childish and absurd things. The jokes land more often than they miss, and I love that toward the end of the movie when things are getting really serious, they allow the movie to be serious and stop making jokes. So many movies nowadays don't know when to stop cracking jokes, and I'm happy Boy Kills World isn't one of them. Now, let's talk about the main reason why I watched this movie, Bill Skarsgård. For those of you who watched my video on It, you would know that I have a huge crush on Pennywise. And for those who watch my John Wick 4 video, you would know that I really liked Bill's character in that movie and was furious about how they made him dumb toward the end. Anyway, it's safe to say that I quite like Bill Skarsgård as an actor, and I watched The Barbarian last year mostly because he was in that movie. However, I had not seen him in an action movie before. Yes, I know John Wick 4 is an action movie, but Bill doesn't fight in that, so I had no idea how he'd fare as the lead for an action film. I was a bit worried before watching Boy Kills World, and I'm happy to say that his performance is great. For starters, he certainly looks the part. Bill is absolutely jacked in this film, and whenever they showed his muscle, I was like, stop doing that! Stop making me giddy like a fangirl! You're doing this on purpose! I had to keep reminding myself that Bill was only 30-something, and I could only find men over 40 hot, but darn it, it was close. Anyway, besides his appearance, he handled the fights well too, and I would definitely like to see him in more action movies. Outside of fighting, Bill does a good job of portraying Boy as a kid who thinks he's an adult. Because of his backstory, Boy is full of anguish, but he's still a child in many ways. Bill embodied both of these attributes, and his acting matched the voiceovers perfectly. Besides Bill Skarsgård, the rest of the cast is great too. I actually knew some of the other actors as well, like Jessica Roth, who plays the Helmet Girl. I knew her from Happy Death Day and its sequel, and I really enjoyed both of those movies and her performance. I also knew Yayan Ruhian from The Raid, an Indonesian action thriller that I had so much fun watching. Their performance is definitely adequate, and so are the bad guys. While the villains in this film aren't exactly complicated and we don't know much about them, at least most of them are full of personalities and memorable. They're fun villains with distinct characters instead of carbon copies of each other. I love the dysfunctional family dynamic. There's really only one character I don't like, which is the person Boy sets out to kill. I won't get too much into it, but that character, the head of the Vanderkoys, doesn't have a lot of screen time, and she's quite bland compared to the other family members. There's a reason for that, but I'm still disappointed with her character, especially when she's supposed to be the big bad. That's about it for my thoughts on Boy Kills World. While the story is simple and predictable, they make up for it with action and comedy, with the help of the talented cast. I enjoyed the movie a lot and will definitely see it again if I get the chance. Because of the anime aesthetic, I thought the movie was possibly adapted from an obscure graphic novel or something. I was pleasantly surprised to discover that it's actually an original idea. It's refreshing to see such an entertaining comic book style film that isn't an adaptation. I would love for Boy Kills World to get a sequel. There is still so much they could explore, but knowing how terrible sequels could turn out to be, I'm fine with just this movie too. As long as you're not squeamish and you're okay with simple plots, I would definitely recommend you check out this movie. It's entertaining, and I certainly had a great time watching it. It's a shame that there's basically no marketing for this. It really is a fun film. Anyway, hope you guys like my review and nails. I'd be happy if any of you decided to watch Boy Kills World. I had so much fun doing the 3D nails. The macarons are so cute, and I'm happy with how cool the arcade machine turned out. Here's the surprise. 2 of these nails, they glow! Isn't that cool? I'm pretty proud of this set and hope you guys liked it too. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share, do what you want. Keep nailing it and eat cereal, people.